sucks. Oh. Here goes nothing. Morning, it's Petrol Ped. Yeah, hi. Yeah, I know. You're collecting the Mini this afternoon? Yeah. Is there any chance I can keep it for a bit longer? Yeah, I know I've had it for 3 months. Yeah. About 6,000 miles. I know, I really like it. I know, Mrs. Petrol Ped really likes it as well. Do you have to collect it today? Just a couple more days? No. I tell you, how about I buy it from you? Sell me the car. No, you can't do that, okay. Just a few more days, please. No. What time then? 4 o'clock. Okay. Well, I best go and have some fun then. Oh. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to a very, very sad day. Yes, today my Mini JCW Clubman long-termer goes back to Mini, and I'm gutted, really gutted. You know, before I bought a Mini, I really didn't kind of get it. I thought Mini owners were a bit weird. They all seem to go on about their cars as if they were people. They had this unbelievable emotional connection with them. And I really just didn't get it. And then I bought one. Stupidly, I made the mistake of giving it a name, and suddenly it becomes a personality, and suddenly it gets deep, deep down inside your soul. And honestly, I don't think there are many car manufacturers that do that. Not many cars that just have this incredible character. So when I got offered the opportunity to have one of these as a long-termer, I mean, I get lots of press cars. I'm very, very lucky. Press cars maybe a couple of days, normally a week, and you live with the car for a week, and on the day it goes back, it's always a sad day, especially if it's been something you've really enjoyed driving, you know, my first supercar or something amazing like a Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It's a sad day. It drives off that way, and you wave it goodbye, and you go inside and you mope around for a bit. I've been driving this car for 3 months. I've done over 6,000 miles in it, and it has truly got under my skin. I love this car to bits. And today is a really, really sad day. When this gets collected in a few hours' time, I'm not just going to mope around for a bit. I'm going to be really, really upset. I love it. In fact, I love it so much, I want to buy one. So why don't I just walk round the outside of the car and tell you the things that I've found out about in the last 3 months. We've done lots of things together, me and this car, and actually Mrs. Petrol Ped's fallen in love with the car as well, which is very unhelpful. So let's just talk a little bit about it. It's not perfect by any means. There are things that wind me up, things that I think could be better, but on the whole it's a very, very good car. So let's just talk around the outside, the things I like, and then we'll go up the road and I'll give you my final driving impressions after having spent an awful long time in the driver's seat of that car. So where do we start? I think we need to start at the back. We'll start at the back because probably the most iconic part of the design are these two big barn doors. They kind of hark back to the original Clubman, the classic Clubman. And when I first saw them, I wasn't a big fan. When they redesigned for the Series 3 Mini, the rear of the Clubman with these lights, it kind of grated on me a little bit, and then I slowly started to like it. And then with these Union flag designed lights and the twin exhausts, these are real exhausts, by the way, if you've seen my recent video, they kind of grew on me. However, I like them, but they're like a love-hate relationship. Let me explain. So one of the cool things, when you approach the car, you can unlock the car, push and hold down a button, and they automatically open. In fact, I can do the other one. And that is quite cool when you've got handfuls of shopping and luggage and so on. However, the problem is that opening mechanism isn't electronically opened. Basically, there's a really quite a strong hydraulic strut that pushes the door open. Yeah, and that's great unless you park this far away from a wall, and what happens is that. So when you back into a car park space, you have to be mindful. You need to let yourself have that much space at the back, otherwise you're going to damage the door. And then the other thing, they are quite firm to close. So it's just one of those things to be careful of. Rear of the car, absolutely nailed on. Love it. Round the side of the car, something that I've only noted now. Let me just explain. I've had this car for 3 months, 6,000 miles. It has been clean most of the time, but I drove back yesterday from Wales and then Cheltenham, and I've just not had the opportunity to wash it. Plus, I was in Cornwall last weekend and left my jet wash in my house in Cornwall, so I've got no means to wash the car. So before you start moaning in the comments that the car is dirty, it's winter, people, cars get dirty. So it does need a clean, I know. I just wasn't able to do it this morning, and I wasn't going to take that to the car wash. But interestingly, it's shown up something. So the rear door has part of the door is actually a part of the wheel arch, and we've got this kind of rubber that sits inside the wheel arch, and therefore it gets absolutely caked in road grime and mud. Had exactly the same thing when I had a Discovery, and it's not a major thing, but it's just one of those things. When you open the door, when it's been really grotty and the roads have been dirty, you just get this, and it literally just flakes off. Look, so that's just a minor thing. And then also, if we look down here, these little vents that look very cool on the side of the front wing, you end up with stones and again other bits of crud. I'm being really picky here. The styling of this car is absolutely bob on. However, there's a couple of things that I really would like if I had one myself. The front end is great. I love the styling. I love the little daytime running lights around the outside of the headlamps. I am, however, and I'd love to know what you think about this, I am a big spot lamp fan on a Mini. I've got them on mine, and if I had one of these, I would spec spot lamps on the front. That's just personal preference. I love the splitter, but one of the things to note, apart from the fact it's absolutely disgusting, apologies again, is it's a bit of a leaf trap. So inside here, you end up with lots of leaves and stuff, and I think over a long period of ownership, it's probably really worthwhile to make sure you keep cleaning out the leaves behind there. I know there are other cars, I think Porsche Boxsters have a real problem with this. If you don't clean out all the leaf litter, when they start to decay and mould, they can actually start to damage the radiators, because we've got radiators in there. So that is a real pain, because you have to be a real kind of contortionist with your fingers to, what have I got here? Have I got one? There you go, to pull out the leaves. So you probably just need to be aware of that, but apart from that, love the front of the car. The other thing, last bit of design cue, I really like the larger rear view mirrors. I think they look very smart. So I don't have long left with the car. We need to get out on the road. We need to go driving. So I'm going to jump in the driver's seat, drive up the road, and just give you my impressions of the car from a driving point of view. And there are a couple of things on the inside that I'd really want if I were to buy one. This is my favourite place to be, driving this car. You know, I get a lot of press cars, and you get to drive them and experience them, and that allows me to give you a really good, honest review. But driving a car for 3 months, 6,000 miles, really lets me get under its skin. It really lets me understand what it would be like to have this car in my life as my own car. And I must say, it's made quite an impression. Where do I start with the car from a driving point of view? Well, I've done lots of videos on the car, lots of reviews, but for me, the thing that I love most about this car is no matter how bad your day's been, no matter how tired you are, no matter how rubbish your life has been, get in this car and drive it for less than a mile and you're smiling. It has so much character and just transmits everything to you. And that's the thing that I love about it the most. And, you know, performance-wise, it is ballistically quick. For a little hot hatch type car, 306 horsepower in a car of this size with the 4-wheel drive gives all the performance you need, believe me. Cross country, this car, honestly, I don't think there will be many things faster because it's small and nimble and agile and just able to deal with all the power it has. It doesn't need any more. You know, arguably, do you need any more than 300 horsepower in a car? You know, big funny, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, really fast hatchbacks, hot hatches had maybe 150 brake. This thing's got 300 brake and it sounds great as well. Every single person that got in this car loves it. And the one that loves it the most is Mrs. Petrol Ped. Now, very kindly, when I got this car from Mini UK, because I was going to have it for so long, I got Mrs. Petrol Ped put on the insurance. So she's driven it quite a lot as well. She's done long journeys in it down to her house in Cornwall. She's commuted in it just to work and back and absolutely loves it. And dare I say it, she actually loves this car more than our S4. Yep. That's how good this car is. To the point where actually she wants one of these instead of the S4, but we'll come to that a bit later. Anything in here that I'm not that keen on or that's bugged me over the time I've had the car? Not a huge amount, if I'm honest. The infotainment system in here, now there is a widescreen option, and I don't have that in this particular car, and I definitely go for that. It gives you a wider or a bigger screen. I've been using wireless Apple CarPlay all the time. I am a big fan. I've stated that on lots of videos recently. One thing I would say is this car really needs either a wireless charge pad to put your phone in or somewhere decent to put your phone with a power cable in it. So there's a USB charger down here, and I've kind of just been putting my phone in the cup holders, and it's not ideal because it moves around. So I just think ergonomically, if you're going to have wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless connectivity to the car, you need to think where the driver's going to put their phone. I find lots of cars don't have decent phone storage these days. Everybody's got a smartphone, so why don't you design somewhere in the car specifically to put it? There is a little kind of thing here, but it's not really the right size, so that would be a bit of a moan. So, would I have one? Simple answer to that is yes, every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. I love this car. Now, Minis have a special thing of getting under your skin, but this particular car, it just, for our lifestyle, is brilliant. It has the space and the practicality. It's not as big and as practical as the S4, obviously, but it's big enough. And if I were to buy one, this car has 2 things missing that I would have to have. 3 if you include the wider screen on the sat-nav. Firstly, I would need a panoramic roof. I'm a massive pano roof, and I think if this had a glass roof, it would just be a bit more light and airy inside the car. And then I'd also have to have roof rails so that I could put a roof box on. Because there will be times in this car when it just doesn't have the storage space in it. If I've got me and Mrs. Petrol Ped in the front, the 2 dogs sat on the back seats, and then a boot full of stuff, we would need to put the roof box on. And also, although I can get my bike in the back, there are times when you've got stuff in there as well, so I'd also want to be able to put my bike on the roof, so roof rails are a must. And then I would also probably opt for the larger diamond cut wheels. I think they look a little bit nicer, although actually from a practical point of view, from a sensible point of view, I should probably stick with these basic ones, because if you scratch them, they're much cheaper to basically get re-touched up, powder coated, sprayed, whatever you want to do. So, you know, keeping them looking nice is far easier than the lovely diamond cut ones. And the lady in my life does have a slight habit of curbing wheels, so I think it would be better to have these, but I think the others look much nicer. Now, I do have to say a massive thank you to Mini UK for letting me have this car for 3 months. As I've mentioned already, it's really very special to be able to live with a car and let it get under your skin and learn everything about it. I think sometimes in cars, the good bits and the bad bits don't become apparent until you've spent a long time in the car. You know, hours and hours. Goodness knows how many hours I've sat in this driver's seat and been in this car. It's given me a real quandary now, because honestly, do not be surprised if there's a Mini JCW Clubman on my driveway by the end of the year, irrespective of the GP or not. You know, sometimes I think with YouTubers, you think you've got to have this garage that appeals to YouTube. My car, Ruby Roadster, that's my YouTube car. The S4 is Tracy's car, Mrs. Petrol's car, and it just so happens it's a nice car. And really, for that car, this is a brilliant option. And we've looked into them, and we very nearly pulled the trigger, but from a finance point of view, the finance on the S4, unfortunately, I'm not one of these car swapping, car flipping YouTubers. I actually live a real life with real money, and if we were to trade the S4 in now, we'd basically, it wouldn't be favourable financially. So if we wait another sort of 6 to 9 months, so towards the end of this year, look at doing that, that will work out for us far better. So do not be surprised if by the end of this year we've got another JCW Clubman sat on the drive, because it's a brilliant car. And that for me is testament to this car. How much more positive stuff can I tell you, other than it's impressed me that much I want to buy one. Anyway guys, I really hope you've enjoyed my time with this car. I hope it's not my last long-termer. I'm always asking manufacturers and trying to get cars for longer periods of time. A week is great, but any more than that just enhances what I can bring to you. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. I've got about an hour or so before this car gets picked up, and I'm going to enjoy every moment. But believe me, this evening, I am not over-egging you here. I will shed a tear. This car has really got under my skin. Luckily, I didn't give it a name. Otherwise, I'd be in bits right now. I really don't want it to go back, but it must. She's been a good girl. I've enjoyed every minute. Let's enjoy that last hour. See you soon, guys. Drive safe. I did try and make him let me keep it, but time to mope.